Greetings, comic friends. It is TGIW. Thank God it is Wednesday. New comic book day. So let's go over what I picked up. First, I guess like the elephant in the room. Um, I, I don't want to talk about it. So let's just jump in. I've actually already read about half of these already. And I usually don't do this. I usually don't read anything before I record these. But I happen to today. And I have some thoughts on some of them that, because I've read them, I will go ahead and share those thoughts with you. Because why not? So I'll start where I start. Okay. Daredevil number 32. It's so good. If you're not reading Daredevil, this is definitely not a good jumping on point. You'll probably want to go back at least an arc or two. If you can't find the issues, do it in trades, or buy them digitally. I don't know. I don't care. It is just it's so great. It is probably one of the best Daredevil stories. Just period. I've been reading Daredevil for a long time, and I've never enjoyed it as much as I do right now. That's all I can say. Sometimes I have to think past Titan. So the last book you'll ever read, number 1. This was on my poll because I asked for the number 1 a long time ago from previews. We've seen it the last few weeks. I keep getting these number 1s because I pre-ordered them. Some have been okay. Some have not been great. Past Titan made a good choice. This book was fantastic. I highly suggest picking this up. It was a great read. It felt very inspired by the movie In the Mouth of Madness, which is my favorite horror movie. I can't suggest this enough. If you can find a copy of it, it's by Vault. Looks like an imprint of theirs, Nightfall. If you didn't get this, I suggest picking it up. I'm not saying it's going to be a huge thing and worth a bunch of money. I'm saying it's a very good read. And I'm excited to read more. I am definitely adding this to my poll, even though that is something I'm trying to avoid at all costs. But that's my opinion, right? If you recall, I had similar opinions of Stray Dogs, Department of Truth, We Live, and look at what those books are doing. So I'm not giving a guarantee. I'm just saying I get the same sort of this is great sort of feeling I had about those books I have about these books, or this book. It's just really good. Something is Killing the Children, number 18. This is fine. This is the backstory of how Erica Slaughter became Erica Slaughter. It's interesting. So you're getting and for me it's more, it's not really about Erica Slaughter. It's learning more about the House of Slaughter through Erica Slaughter's journey. I don't necessarily care about Erica Slaughter herself as a character. She was the main, protagonist of the first big arc. I could have left it at that. What's important to me about the continuation of this series is learning more about the House of Slaughter. And if it's through Erica Slaughter, I understand, because she's a character we're familiar with. But I think the real main character of the current arc is the House of Slaughter itself, not necessarily Erica Slaughter. Department of Truth number 11. This issue and the issue before, it's a long read. There's a lot of prose in here. And I said it before, I really don't like prose in my comics. There are exceptions. And the prose that is in this arc of Department of Truth is an exception. It's really well written. It ties into the story, especially like the payoff at the end here. The prose is their letters. They're letters from the past that really build up to something that pays off here. Even before the payoff, like in the previous issue, it was good. It was I don't want to say heart-wrenching. Yeah, it was a little heart-wrenching. It was heart-wrenching. I'll go ahead and say it. It was heart-wrenching. It was really good. But this arc is great, even with the prose. And dare I say, it is enhanced by the prose, which again I don't normally like. Robin number 4. Uh-oh. I've never seen Titan with Robin 1 through 3. Oops. I picked up Robin. I really like Damian Wayne. I think Damian Wayne is more interesting than Batman. This is going to be a concept that is repeated here very soon in this video. I think Damian is more interesting than Batman. So I really was interested in the concept of Damian outside of the context of Batman, right? Whenever we saw Damian in the past, it was usually as Robin next to Batman. We saw a lot of Super Sons, Batman and Damian and John Kent, which I always loved those. So I really like. I think Damian is a standalone character. I think he's interesting enough to be a standalone character. I don't know if that's true of other Robins, but I think Damian definitely is. So I picked up the first 3 issues of Robin, and I really, really liked it, so I added it. So number 4 came out. Oops. Amazing Spider-Man 71. Who's that on the cover? Kindred. Don't care. Star Trek Year 5, number 23. I feel like this is definitely wrapping up, but it's so good. It's so good. Because I think it's wrapping up, I can't suggest jumping onto it. I don't know for sure, but this definitely seems like the last arc of this series. If you have been reading it, then you know how good it is. If you haven't, if you have any interest in Star Trek at all, I suggest starting at the beginning and picking up the trades and so on. The stuff that's happening here calls back to issues at the very beginning of the run. Not necessarily so, like you don't have to have read it, but there are callbacks to it. Because the first issue had to do with the Tholians, and this is sort of wrapping up with the Tholians. It's very, very good. I did this on purpose. I bought this number 1 on purpose. It came out today. I knew I was going to pick it up. Superman, Son of Kal-El. Like I said about Damian, I think Damian is more interesting than Bruce. I think John is more interesting than Clark. By a long shot. I think Clark Kent Superman is probably the most boring and worst superhero out there. Hot take. Superman is super boring as a power set and as a character. He's very, very boring. There's nothing interesting about him. Props to him being the first superhero and starting this entire world of superheroes we live in. I appreciate the contribution you have made. You are not interesting. I think John is very interesting. as someone who is in a position where he is trying to live up to the name of his father. He's figuring out his place as a superhero, which it goes into a little bit here. I did read this. This is one that I read, and I'm so glad I picked it up. This is very good for a number of reasons. One, it's a Superman book that is actually interesting, because it is starring John. The writing by who was it? I forget. Oh, Tom Taylor is very, very good. There were a number where I gave myself a number of chuckle sort of laughs, clever things that were said and done in here. It's almost worth it for the first 6 pages alone, but it doesn't stop there. There's great interaction between John and Damian. It's very good. If you're like me, where you don't like Superman, but you want to like Superman, or you want to have a Superman book, but you don't like Clark, which is kind of weird, this is it. This is good. This is so good. Man, it was so good. Highly suggest it. Let's see. Symbiote Spider-Man Crossroads. I get all Symbiote Spider-Man, so this is automatically added. It's more Peter David. Peter David, I think, is one of the best writers out there. I don't know what this particular one is about, but it's great. Parasomnia number 2. This is a 4-issue limited series. I had added on reading previews. I had just added the whole thing at once, so I'm getting them all now. The first issue was good. This is Cullen Bunn again. Cullen Bunn is so great. This is Cullen Bunn. Get this. I wish I could just put this book in everyone's hand right now, and you can read it so you understand how serious I am about getting that damn book. Parasomnia, number 2. Yeah, the first issue was good. I really like this art style. The cover art is reminiscent of what's in the interior. So if this is not your kind of art style, sort of very watercolory, sort of nondescript maybe art style, I suggest it. It's good. I like it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Annual 2021. I'm not sure where this is going to fall. I don't know if this is going to move forward the storyline or if it's just a side story. It could go either way with annuals. I think TMNT annuals are usually side stories. They usually don't have anything to do with what's going on in the main book. There may be. It's not to say that if you haven't been reading the main book, you won't miss out on things in here. It's just not. It's not like, the next part in the story. It sort of takes place in the present time of what's gone on in the main book, but not part of the actual story, if that makes sense. Wolverine number 14. The last issue of Wolverine was in that crossover, the Hellfire Gala. Was that what it was? Did not care for it because I don't read any other X books. So if this keeps crossing over with other X books, I'm going to have to drop it. I want Wolverine as just a solo Wolverine series because I don't read the other X books. So it's not bad. It's just if I'm not going to understand what's going on because I don't read those other titles, then the book it isn't for me, and that's fine. It'd be great if it wasn't for me because that's one thing, something I could cut. That'd be great. Strange Adventures number 11. This and then one more. I am curious to see how this wraps up. I don't want this to wrap up just because I want it to be over, which is true. I do want to see how this wraps up. King on these 12-issue limited series, maxi series, whatever you want to call them. Um, this, and is he also doing Rorschach? Rorschach. They both could have been 6 issues. So the middle drags a lot. But when it gets to the last handful of issues, they do get interesting. It's just, it could have been wrapped up much quicker and been an actual sort of like good series. It just, they lose you in the middle, which is too bad. But I do want to see how they sort of wrap up, especially since I've invested so much in them, right? I've invested 10 issues of it. I do want to see how it actually wraps up. Berserker number 4, the last issue, it was a lot of his past, which is really interesting. This is the foil cover. I didn't really want to get the foil cover, but the shop that I have this subscribed to or at, they had a lot of damages, and all of the regular covers that they had left were damaged. So instead of waiting for the reorders, I went ahead and picked up the foil cover. Like, whatever. But this continues to be good. Speaking of damages, before I forget, Phantom on the Scan number 4 also came out, but again, those are all damaged, so I didn't get that. I'll get that next week, I guess, or whenever the reorder comes in. Eternal 6. I've been digging this. I'm curious to see who the I guess they did expose who the traitor was last issue, if I'm remembering correctly. So I'm curious to see how that pans out. I think this is a 12-issue series, maybe. I don't know if this is the last or not. It's always so hard to tell. I wish they all would be like, it's number 6 of whatever. That'd be really nice, just for, I don't know, planning purposes and whatever. But anyway. Yeah, this has been good. I've been enjoying this. Fantastic Four number 34. This Bride of Doom or Wedding of Doom, Bride of Doom Part 3 is bananas. It's so good. The last issue was so great. It's like everything is going fine. Everything is going great. And then, Johnny, what have you done? What have you done? It's not like it's a surprise. Things were inevitably going to go bad. You know it's going to go bad. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, it's the wedding of Dr. Doom and all the Fantastic Four is going. Things are probably just going to go smoothly. Yeah, things will be fine. You know that's not going to be the case. But why things go bad, it's so good. This is really good. And then the last one that I got is the other history of the DC Universe. These have been so great. You when you read these, you have to be ready for it. And this is a book entirely of prose. So, and that's fine if you know what you're getting into. That's fine. But it is these sort of in the borderline of, I mean, it's Black Label, so I guess officially it's not canon. But from what I've read, it's been canon, right? Because it's like it's not new things happening. It's the history of these characters that is canon. So it's kind of strange that it's Black Label. But it's the backstory of all of these minority characters, and a lot of it is just, this is the history of these characters. This is the origin story of these characters, but it will also touch on the struggles that they've had and where being a minority character has had, or in their eyes, not being a character, but being a minority, has affected their lives. both personal lives and in like the superhero community. They're very, very good. You have to prepare yourself when you sit down. It takes a good, it's magazine size, it's prestige format, and it's prose, so it does take a good chunk of time to read. So you have to be ready to do it. It's not like I have 10 minutes. I have time to read a comic. I'm going to read an issue of the other history of the DC Universe. It's not going to fly. But they are good. They're definitely worth reading in my opinion. So, for what it's worth. So that's all of the new stuff. Again, it's a really good week. I felt like it's big. It's a big week, and we don't have to go into what happened, and all that stuff. It is what it is. But I have to say, almost everything here is fantastic. The only thing that I'm somewhat iffy on is Strange Adventures, but I've been iffy on that for a while. All this is such good stuff, and I've read half of it already, and it was all really, really good. It's just it's a really good week of solid books. It would have been hard to leave any of these, for the most part, on the shelf for sure. So it is what it is. There is also something else that I have picked up. It's a book that I have been missing for a while, and that is Strange Tales number 179. This is the first appearance of Pip the Troll. I think this is the last that I need in order to have the first appearance of everyone that was in the Infinity Watch. Which is why I got all of these, these Strange Tales that I have. I love the Infinity Watch. I love the Infinity anything, but the Infinity Watch was so much fun. So I wanted to make sure that I got all the first appearances of everyone in Infinity Watch. So you're Adam Warlock, Drax, Gamora, Pip the Troll, Moondragon, all of that. Oh no, I might not have Moondragon. Shoot. Anyway, I didn't have this. I didn't have Pip the Troll. I had come across issues of this quite a few times, but they've all been really beat up. So one of the shops had a pretty decent looking copy for what I thought was a decent price. So I picked it up, and I'm happy that I did it. It could use some work. The front looks really nice. There is a fairly decent spine tick on it. The back needs some work, but I don't think it's anything that I can't clean up. So I'm really happy with that. But other than that, hey pup. That is everything. So let me know your thoughts. It was a big week. There's a lot of stuff out there. So let me know the stuff that you picked up, and what you read that you really enjoyed, what I picked up that you're really enjoying or you're not enjoying. We can have that conversation as well. So do that in the comments, like, subscribe, all of that. And of course, don't forget to make yours Titan. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.